Has been summer though. Yeah, pretty good time.
Please get started.
All right, all the way now. We have to start. I'll try to get you. I've got your email. And I just realized that you all. We're not getting any sound and that's. Yeah. But she doesn't have that time. And I was reminded that
Canova,
we're going to start
there. Please take your chairs. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. My name is Rusty Ward. I am the moderator tonight. As you came in, I hope everybody got a sheet with all the questions. So if you submitted a question, you'll see your question on there. So, and we'll also have Martha she'll draw the letters for us, so it'll be random drawing. So, you know, we'll probably flip from front to back and that sort of thing. You also have a little bit of room, there's not much room, we'll have a little bit of room to write down an answer or something that you may want to talk to the candidate later about. But to begin with, I'd like to welcome Glenn Millican, and he's to my right, and Canova Peterson on the left. And we'll get started with the prayer and the pledge first, and then we'll give it to them. I believe it'll be Glenn that'll be starting off the the introduction, and it'll be 2 minutes, and each at the beginning, and then at the end, the closing, they'll have 2 minutes, and they'll swap at the end, and we'll alternate the questions. So one will start one time, and one will start the next time. So hopefully everybody can stand. Hopefully the air conditioning is good enough to keep everybody cool. But anyway, we'll start off with the pledge. So if you will please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day and a chance for us to come together as friends and neighbors, Lord, to be able to learn who the candidates are and what what they stand for. And we appreciate the time that you've given us, Lord, tonight. And I pray, Lord, that you'll come and be a part of us, Lord, and help us understand and be able to make a choice that you'll be grateful for us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. Of course, there's a couple of quick little things I'd like to mention. Salt and Light will have a meeting tomorrow night, so I think there's some information, or you can see Major about that. Also, there's Ted Cruz sign up if you're willing to sign up to not vote for him, but to allow him to participate. So he'll be one of the candidates we can vote for here in Virginia. That would be great. And also Dave Brad has got a table out here too. And so if you want to come out there, if you want some more information about him, that's available also. And I guess we'll start off. We'll turn it over to Glenn, if you don't mind me calling you Glenn. Yes, sir. And we'll let you start off for 2 minutes.
All right, sir. But before I start, there are 2 items that I would like to do. I'd like to express my gratitude to the Mechanicsville Tea Party for hosting this forum and allowing me to share my ideas and my thoughts and to listen to you. And I thank you for taking your time during the summer to come to a meeting and have an interest in our county. One other issue, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I learned that Canova's son will be traveling to Tunisia. Did you say?
Yes.
Please let's all wish him Godspeed and a safe return. And I think we all need to know that children are a very precious thing to us all. As Mr. Ward said, I'm Glenn Millican. Mechanicsville District and Hanover County need a better balance on the Board of Supervisors. My efforts are focused on providing that balance. My focus is on core issues and being a representative with a solid vision and deep experience to enable the district and the county to meet the potential and maintain the quality of life that is Hanover. We need a candidate that understands the necessity of transparency, of fairness, and that the desires of the residents are paramount when making crucial decisions. A candidate who has the financial and the planning skills to implement and to manage changing times, who is not wed to special interests, who asks probing questions, and who is fiscally conservative and protects the assets that belong to the residents of the county. And I am that candidate. My experience in business, finance, government is both broad and deep. I've been a Hanover civic volunteer for 40 years, and I've dedicated 24 years to our school board, proving my opposition to bond debt and my support for value-added spending. These measures strengthen the school system that produced extremely high graduates while also being one of the lowest cost per student systems in Virginia. Professionally, I received my undergraduate degrees at both William & Mary and VCU and a Master in Commerce from the University of Richmond. I am a licensed CPA. I have owned a small business in Mechanicsville, worked for Fortune 500 in both state and local governments. Never have I seen a Hanover Board of Supervisors more connected to special interests and less concerned with resident issues. Tonight, I stand before you to listen to your concerns, share my solutions, and ask for your support to bring transparent and effective governance to Hanover that serves all citizens.
Thank you.
That was great. He's right on time with that. I have to echo Lynn's thoughts. Thank you to the Tea Party for having given us this opportunity to share our ideas and thoughts with the entire community, and to also share with you questions that are on your mind so that we can get those out. I am going to give you a little bit of background on myself. I think most of the people in this room I have met or know from someplace. Most of you know my background. I've been here 43 years. I'm a current member on the Board of Supervisors representing this district. I did not grow up here. I grew up in East Tennessee, graduated from school, came to Virginia, went to Virginia Tech, left there, joined the United States Army, served a tour in Vietnam, came back and went to work as an architect. First in Delaware, in '73 I moved to Richmond. In the Richmond area I moved to Mechanicsville. By pure accident at the time, it's the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. Was when I ended up here, because I didn't know anything about the area. I said, "Why do you want to live out in the sticks?" I said, "Didn't know I was. It's great, but it's a great place." And I've been here and served ever since. I opened my own business in '79, been working as an architect here in the community. And as a public service in different groups throughout the county, I've been involved with the churches. And with that, I want to just go back into something, not where we're going. I want to talk about what I told you. Many of these people, of you in this room, I talked to 4 years ago. When I talked to you then, I told you that I was going to listen and respond to citizen concerns. We've had regular town hall meetings, and those of you that have been to my town hall meetings know that my meetings are not designed for me to talk to you. They're designed so that you can talk to me and to the members of the community that come to those meetings. I also said that I would be insisting on fiscal responsibility, which Mr. Millican indicated that he was in for that as well. We have done that very judiciously over the last 3.5 years that we've been in there. We have maintained the AAA bond rating that Hanover County has, and we're the smallest community in the United States with a AAA bond rating. That's 2 minutes already?
That's 2 minutes.
I just can't say anything, can we? Well, ask me some more questions and I'll tell you the rest of the stuff I was going to tell you.
Please remain standing and we'll go to
Okay.
our first. Did you draw our first letter?
Sure.
The letter N.
N, so that's on the back page. All right. Why would anyone on the planning committee or board of supervisors endorse mixed housing or low-income housing in Hanover, and give an example of where property values increase as a result of this social engineering?
I think the social engineering aspects are when we try to decide who has a right to live here and who does not. We have a need for all types of housing in this community, not just single-family housing for the well-to-do. Our teachers, our first responders on the fire department, they deserve to be able to have homes too. And many of them, when they're starting out, cannot afford that first house. One of the things that's very important that we've done over the last 2.5 years, though, is we did help that by getting rid of the proppers. We reduced the price on those houses so that the lower people can afford the house quicker. Our children are no longer banned to living in other communities because they can't afford to live in the county that they grew up in.
Mr. Miller, would you like me to repeat the question?
If you would.
Why would anyone on the planning committee or board of supervisors endorse mixed housing or low-income housing in Hanover, and give one example where property values increase as a result of this social engineering?
Well, I'm not here to defend that question. I would ask other questions and talk about zoning. Fundamental concept of zoning is to protect homeowners and property owners from incompatible, unhealthy, and adverse conditions. It's to provide for adequate infrastructure and support to residents, not add to burdens. And that's currently not happening. Hanover cannot afford the infrastructure that is shown on the comprehensive plan to support the densities that are on that plan. I would call for an immediate review and revision of the current land use plan, and I would call for a reevaluation and a limit on zoning being made without a more definite use. And Mr. Peterson had said about our public service people needing a home. I have a better idea and a much less costly idea. Why don't we look at the salary scale and pay them an adequate wage rather than dumping cheap development in Hanover County?
Mr. Millican, if you
Oh,
would
excuse
remain
me.
standing. Next letter?
L.
L. Back to the page. We have a situation, a district planning commissioner advisor who is also a real estate agent for Hanover County broker. That's the situation. What should that advisor do in order to avoid a conflict of interest? And do you see a potential for impropriety or conflict of interest in this scenario?
That particular scenario has occurred in Hanover at one time in the far past, and it was not a very pleasant situation. I think that anyone that is in public office must separate the public from their business, recuse themselves from any decision that even implies or infers a conflict of interest. As a CPA, our code of ethics is extremely strong, and we cannot participate in any engagement that would even hint of a conflict of interest. That level of ethics must exist. Recuse yourself if your business is inextricably woven into the fabric of the community, then perhaps you should consider another means of service.
I agree with Mr. Millican completely. I mean, integrity is the most important thing of all. Now, we do have one member on the planning commission who is also involved in real estate. There's no question about that. To my knowledge, there has never been a time that this member has not recused himself if there was a conflict of interest. I've had to do that myself as an architect. There have been cases that I've had to recuse myself. But the reality is you can't just ban people from public office because of a particular profession they're in. For instance, if that was the case, we'd never have a lawyer in the legislature, because that's definitely a conflict of interest to pass laws that they get to enforce. But the reality is, yes, integrity is important in the people you elect. Integrity is important in the people we appoint. And that's what we have to be ever watchful for that. And I think we have people with integrity on the planning commission across the board.
Please.
Q.
Q. Okay, what are your thoughts on the county's loss of $52 million due to the 2012 Proffers decision?
The county lost nothing. We never had $52 million to begin with. What we had was a wish and a hope that this money would come forward to begin with. Proffers came into being in Hanover County in 1990 at $1,800 a house. When we got rid of the policy in 2013, actually in the 2012, 2013, it was $20,000. At $20,000, the most we'd ever collected was $2 million. That was in 1 year. The average over the 20 years was $1.3 million. People were talking about trying to collect $10 million a year over the next several years. That's all based on hope and promises. We replaced that with the Reserve for Capital Improvements project that used guaranteed money, adding up to $180 million over that same amount of time.
Mr. Millican.
Well, my position is exactly the opposite from Mr. Peterson's on that. I don't believe that the current board measured the impact and the cost of impact that accrues from growth. I think that they took $52 million of potential revenue out of the long-range capital improvement plan without giving any thought to the revenue that would replace it, and thereby distributing cost from development to you and to me, to residents. This financial hole will only grow deeper because of an ill-conceived policy. The first rule of holes is when you find yourself in one, quit digging. And with the increase in development that is being approved, that hole is getting deeper. We need a system and a process to accurately and fairly measure and record costs attributed to increased growth so that proper funds can be properly assessed and used to provide the needed infrastructure.
Please remain, Mr. Millican.
I will remember that in time.
T.
T. This is a long one. There is no forum in which supervisors must address public questions while on the record. Proposal is to amend the BOS standing rules and procedures as follows. During regular public BOS meeting citizens time, each supervisor shall respond to one citizen question, and each questioning citizen can ask only one question. Do you support or not support, and why? And there's some background to it. I guess politicians in general and our supervisors in particular are fond of private conversations. Just call me and we'll discuss, but such conversations are not on record. Citizens want politicians on the record with the hope that they take consistent positions on issues and policies.
Wow.
That's good.
Let me just say, I don't believe in private meetings. I believe that a public body does public business in public and makes itself available and shares its actions in this day and age through digital media that is completely open and easily found, searchable, and navigated by citizens. There is no reason to have closed or small public meetings that the public can't ask but one question. Ask as many questions as you want. You know, it is not a question of time or expediency. That is what you're there for, to listen to the public. Half of transparency is listening, not talking. And listen to the public and give them the opportunity, such as a meeting like this, to express what's on their mind and to ask questions. That's how I feel about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Peterson.
While I'm turning this off, would you please repeat that question?
Sure.
Hey, Rusty, don't read the background of that question.
Okay. There is no forum in which supervisors must address public questions while on the record. proposal is to amend the BOS standing rules and procedures as follows. During regular public BOS meetings, citizens' time, each supervisor shall respond to one citizen question, and each questioning citizen can ask only one question. Do you support or not support, and why?
The particular amendment that you're talking about, I'm really having a hard time seeing how that could possibly work. The importance of hearing what the people have to say, though, is absolutely critical. That is why most of us supervisors do have town hall meetings we have where people can come in and talk to us about anything. We have open lines. My cell phone, my home phone is all out there on the internet, public, ready for people to call me, and they do all the time. And I'll ask them, does anybody in this room ever call me that I didn't call them back? Talk to them about your issues. There's no hands going up because there is nobody that has called me that I haven't gotten back in touch with.
You will remain standing.
Okay.
We will remember.
The question is aye. And it goes, when termination interviews are conducted with teachers leaving the Hanover County school system, not one teacher cited low pay as a reason for leaving. Do you believe that the total compensation package for our teachers is competitive with other systems in the area? And the school administrator believes that the teacher turnover rate is normal in a workforce of this size. Do you agree?
The reality is all teachers are worth more than they get paid, whether it's in this system or any other system. The other reality is the market controls the salaries across the board in the education system. As far as the reasons for termination and the turnover, Hanover County has the lowest turnover rate of any school system in Central Virginia. It is half of the state average turnover. So, yes, our school system is a desirable school system that the teachers from all around the area would like to work in.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
I would appreciate it.
No problem. When termination interviews are conducted with teachers leaving the Hanover County school system, not one teacher cited low pay as a reason for leaving. Do you believe that the total compensation package for our teachers is competitive with other systems in the area? And the school administration believes the teacher turnover rate is normal in a workforce of this size. Do you agree?
No, the compensation is a salary scale. There are some steps on that salary scale that are competitive. There are many that are not competitive. So when you're talking about that, there is a variable that you have to consider. In leaving an exit interview, I've been in business for a long time. I have had employees leave, and I can tell you that many employees on an exit interview will put virtually no answer because it can be professional suicide. If you think about it, can be professional suicide. That will not happen. More teachers are becoming disillusioned with the system because of lack of funding, because of lack of compensation, because of lack of professional respect, and for the increasing burdens that are taking them away from the classroom and teaching.
You will remain.
We're going to get this right. Last
C.
one.
Next question is C. It's a short one, all right. Do you support elected school board members, and why?
I support what the community wants and why it is done. If it is done to better the schools, I am all for it. If it is for some grudge or vendetta, then I'm not for any action that is based on that. If citizens feel that would be a better way to have their voices heard, this is a government of the people and by the people. Decide. That's what we are expected to accept, to do, to embrace. So do it.
Peterson.
Say that one more time, Trustee.
Sure. Do you support elected school board members and why?
I support the fact that the citizens of Hanover County decided to keep an appointed school board. If you have an elected board, and that elected board has no authority to control its revenues and taxation. There's many states up north that do have elected boards and they have taxing authority. We do not have that in Virginia. And if you look around at all the infighting between boards and councils and school boards all around us, and you look at Hanover County and realize that we are the largest county, or likely to be. You saw the reports the other day on our new test scores, that the Patrick Henry has jumped up 5 points above the SOL numbers. So we are likely, next month when it comes out, to be the largest county in the state of Virginia that is fully accredited in all our schools.
You'll remain standing.
Yes.
Yes.
Come on up here.
Yes is the next question. They're getting their exercise. Yeah, the letter S. Would you guys support amending Hanover's county's zoning? I'm sorry? I left the first part off for purpose. It says please ask the candidates, so I'm asking the candidates if they would support amending Hanover's county's zoning ordinances to allow backyard chickens.
That's a really good question, and I'll be honest with you, I took that to the community committee, and they flat said no. Thank you. And I took it because I've had two citizens here in Mechanicsville specifically ask for that. I told them right up front I would not support any roosters because I know they can be mean, noisy, and loud. I've never met an aggravating hen. But at the same time, I'm not a farmer, so I don't know. I would have, you know, but right now it's a no. It's not going to happen with the current board. But if the people want it, and you can show me that it does not affect neighbors, then I'm receptive.
Mr. Millican. Now I know whatever happened. I didn't get to the end of it.
I wouldn't support the roosters either. But it's not just the chicken question. Let's talk about the question of government overreach and the size of government. Let's talk about the Dillon Rule, and let's talk about the 10th Amendment. You're getting into issues there that with this small case that have much wider implications. I agree that it has to be decided by the locality, but you have to be very careful when you're crafting a zoning ordinance that you don't use a zoning ordinance such as the issuance, such as I believe the lady in Fairfax, Fauquier is having a problem now with a similar type issue. You've got to be very careful in your crafting that you don't go from protecting the residents to overreach.
If you'll stay.
P.
P?
P.
Question is P. How do you feel about an elected official who makes official decisions to gain financial benefit for themselves or others who supported their campaign?
I find it disgusting.
So do I.
Stay up. You go stay.
Next question.
D.
D.
Then dog.
Bingo.
Bingo. You did very good. You remain standing. Do you support the adoption of Common Core and/or its principles, and why?
No, I do not. I think one of the biggest problems we have in education today is encroachment from upper levels of government and not letting it be handled at the local level.
Mr. Millican?
I believe states have to and localities have to define their own levels of excellence. Common Core, I do not believe is a workable solution, but I do think that time on task, robust instruction, quality, well-qualified teachers, good materials, adequate facilities, the expectation, high expectations of the community, high expectations from parents for their children, involvement by parents in the schools is what brings quality to education. Children are our responsibility. We have to step up as parents. I am a parent of 2 wonderful children, and I have worked with children for many, many years. There are so many things that we need to do to ensure quality.
You'll remain standing.
Oh.
Oh. I can't believe I'm getting this right, so. Okay, I hear Hanover County Schools offers about 200 elective courses to study. And 2 questions come with this. Why so many? And would you sponsor a move to add a course which would teach students about the founding of America and the establishment of the U.S. Constitution?
Well, if I am correct, the government classes, and especially Randy Wright's class at Patrick Henry, you've heard the dollar bill exercise that they have been through. And that is a wonderful course, a wonderful course. 200 courses for electives is not a high, it seems a high number, but you have multiple diplomas and multiple requirements for those diplomas and multiple tracks for courses that students need, whether they be in training, whether they be in culinary and trade courses, whether they be in academic courses, whether they be in standard courses. When you break it down, that is not an excessive number. What is missing is time to fit those courses into a curriculum so that they can master the courses.
I do not pretend to know how many electives we have in the schools or how many we should have. That's why I, as well as the other board members, appoint good, quality, and intelligent people to the school board. This is a task that is really a school board issue to work what is best for the education of our children. I do know that we've had problems because there are new state mandated courses that are no longer electives, but they're courses that we used to teach our children at home, like personal finance and things like that, that are taking away from their education in other areas, and which is causing a problem within the schools as far as kids getting the electives and some of the actual education that used to be taught in the homes.
You'll remain.
G.
G. All right, exercise and turn the pages. Question G, what is your opinion and what action, if any, would you take concerning the showing of Thomas L. Friedman's reporting Searching for the Roots of 9/11 movie in the classroom?
I think I made that very clear when it came up before the board before. I think it's one absolutely terrible film. I may be saying that and responding from my background as a combat veteran, but what I saw was a film that was designed to find an excuse for the inexcusable. The attacks at the Pentagon and in Washington, you could sit there and call an act of war. The attack on the World Trade Center is nothing but evil. On the other hand, I also did not come down on the teacher who brought that into the classroom, because when I got into it and explored it, I found that that teacher also included President Bush's response to 9/11, the actual film footage of 9/11, as well as the song many of you may have heard Do You Remember by Daryl Burley. To put all these into perspective, I do believe that we have smart youth in this community, and that this teacher did not look at only one aspect of it. But the film itself, frankly, was not good.
Would you like me to repeat it?
Sure.
I like that gaze. Give me. What is your opinion, and what action, if any, would you take concerning the showing of the Thomas L. Friedman reporting Searching for the Roots of 9/11 movie in the classroom?
I think our main focus, our main objective in any curriculum, whether it be elementary, middle, secondary, college, or graduate school, is to teach critical thinking, to show as much reality to the world at appropriate level to our students so that they can function and think and understand and realize what their assets are, what their impediments are, and what they are facing when they leave those doors. It must be balanced. Remember, one-sided information is indoctrination. Full two-sided balance can bring critical thinking. And I'm 100% behind teaching every student critical thinking so they can function when they leave our care.
F.
F, question F. This goes right along with the same question. I do not know how long the showing of 9/11 has been taking place, but do you know that they have been teaching peaceful Islam in our school for years? Do you think it is fair to the students by not teaching the whole truth? And have the students been told that the killings like 9/11 have been going on for centuries, even before there was a United States? Erroneously, the film suggests America is at fault, and would you support removing false teachings like this